Hey everyone, how are we doing today? My name is Brianna Maselli and I am a MAT student at Towson University, and this is going to be my technobiography. So, the first piece of technology that I remember using in my lifetime is this older desktop computer. Super interesting because it's very bulky. The screen was very curved, and when you put your hand or your face to the screen, you kind of felt these like fuzzies touching your face. It would make the peach fuzz on my face stand up. It's almost like those older TVs that you remember. Um, this computer was extremely difficult to use, where you would have to insert DVDs to play certain games or have certain hard drives. The most frustrating part about this computer is that there was only one in the entire house. So having a household with your parents and multiple siblings could get very hard to navigate. I remember having to fight with my brother to use it because he was always a gamer, still is. And all he wanted to do was sit on the computer and play games, when all I wanted to do is play My Little Pony. So that was really interesting and very different that we only had one computer for the entire household. Okay, so the next piece of technology that I remember using is this disposable camera. I remember my mom used to have a disposable camera for every party we had, every event. She had to capture the moment. And it was very interesting because she would have to go to Walgreens or CVS to develop these photos, and they would take like a few days to develop, and she'd pick them back up later. It's amazing though, because nowadays we have our iPhones, all of our pictures are digital. But even when I go back home, back to New York, my favorite thing to do is go into her little boxes with just hundreds and hundreds of pictures that I could hold and sort through. I think that's an amazing memory to have. It's very cool how these disposable cameras have a comeback. Like for my birthday this year, I had a disposable camera. It signifies like a trendy old vintage capture, and it's very, very popular now. So not only can you still buy a disposable camera, even though we have our phones, we have nicer, higher tech cameras, there's an app called Disposable Camera made by, I think it's David Dobrik. Um, and you take the picture, and your phone does not let you view the picture until 24 hours later. So it basically technically develops, which I think is super interesting, and it really captures what a disposable camera is by also using technology. Okay, so the next piece of technology that I remember is this big, bulky VHS video camera. My dad never left the house without this, which I'm super grateful for nowadays. Because we only had flip phones or beepers, our phones were not able to capture video in quality footage. So he carried this around. He recorded holidays. He recorded my dance recitals, everything under the sun, first day of school. And I'm actually super grateful for that because even though we didn't have higher technology back then, I was still able to see myself as a kid. I was able to see family members who have passed away recently. Just so many memories with my family and friends, and I couldn't be more grateful for this. The only annoying thing is that because it's so old, the software doesn't work as well, and he has to transfer the footage on little tapes to DVDs, and he hasn't gotten the chance to do that yet. But love this camera. Looks super old, super vintage, and I'm actually really grateful for it. Very good memories. The next piece of technology is the Nintendo DS. I thought this was the coolest thing to ever be invented at the time. It's this little compact gaming system that has a touch screen and another screen on top. They gave you a stylus, you can plug headphones in, you could watch things. It was so cool. So before I had a cell phone, I carried this around with me everywhere. It consumed a huge part of my time. I remember we used to go on vacation to Atlantic City, and I would bring my girlfriend at the time. We were so young, and we would sit on the bed and play Nintendo DS all day. And what was really cool about this is that if we had our separate devices, we could play a game that was multiplayer if we were in the same vicinity. So that was really fun, really interactive. Took up a lot of my time. And I would totally be lying if I said that I haven't picked this up recently. It's super fun. Just something to do when you're bored. Okay, so the next piece of technology I remember is this BlackBerry iPhone. So the BlackBerry. The BlackBerry was my next phone after my flip phone. It had so many features. You could email, there's contacts. I could search the web, which I thought was insane. There was also something called a BBM. So this was my first form of instant messenger on a handheld device. There was things like AIM that I could use on my desktop laptop or my computer, which allowed me to do the things. But now I had it in my hand. So this thing was called BBM. You'd have to get someone's BBM number and add them as a friend. In this BBM, you were able to add a status. You could direct message people. You can make group chats. And it was my life. As a young girl, this phone was just everything for me. And it was also very popular because you were actually able to play games on your phone. So I remember that you were able to play Tetris. And when I tell you, I never put this phone down and all I did was play Tetris. It might not seem like the greatest thing now, but back then it was my life. The next piece of technology was the Apple iPhone. I acquired my first iPhone in 2014. I was in high school. This by far was the biggest jump in technology that I acquired. There were so many things built into this little device. The biggest thing that the iPhone had for people was the use of apps, the use of social media. This is kind of where everything started to change. I personally think the world would be a happier place if we all just went back to flip phones and didn't have all this social media. Obviously, social media is a huge part of our world today, and I think it consumes a lot of people's time. A lot of individuals can sit there invested in their phone instead of in real life. For convenience purposes, the iPhone is great. You can do everything possible on your iPhone. But my personal opinion, if the whole world went back to flip phones or beepers, I would not be mad. A little while after I received my Apple iPhone, I decided to get an Apple Watch. At first, I was like, what is the point in this? I already use my phone enough. It's always on me. Why do I need it on my wrist 24/7? But I actually love this piece of technology. I've had great experience with this device. Especially when I'm dieting or working out or being active, it tracks my calories, the exact calories burned for the day, whether it's active or stable calories. It gives me updates, tells me when to breathe, tells me when I need to stand up and walk a little bit, and it's so easily accessible. Again, the only frustration I have with it is that it does not give me a break from the techno world. I am constantly seeing if someone texts me. I am constantly seeing if somebody liked an Instagram post, if someone DM'd me. So depending how I'm feeling that day, I don't wear my watch at all. I only wear it for purposes that are going to benefit my mental and physical health. Technology that came after my Apple Watch is this Ring camera. Now, this was super recent that I found this out. I recently moved to Baltimore, living on my own, living with my friends, and we thought that getting a Ring camera would be the safest option for us. The Ring camera keeps your apartment or your home safe by recording images and videos wherever you put it. So we ordered this, and it was an amazing purchase. This app was super helpful in seeing who's at our door, who is passing our house, when our packages were dropped off, etc. The only thing that I would complain about the Ring camera, which is almost everything nowadays, is that we had to buy a subscription in order to save the video footage. So that was a little frustrating, but that's just how the world works nowadays. We ordered the subscription. It was definitely worth it. My roommate actually saw someone steal her package off our front porch, and we were able to contact the police, and they tracked them down. She got her package back. I've heard of coworkers that use Ring cameras that have actually helped police investigations or other important sightings. For instance, a girl went missing a few months ago, and they were able to track down and trace her location and time due to people's Ring cameras in their front of the house. So I think that's super interesting and very, very helpful. Something that's great with the Ring camera is that you also get an app on your phone that connects directly to it. So I can go on my app and I could see live footage of the outside of my house when I'm at work or out of the house. The next piece of technology that I was able to get in touch with was this POS iTouch. So this POS iTouch is mainly used in stores, restaurants, things where people need to pay right away. So this is like super interesting to me as a server. It's basically a portable POS system. So instead of me going back to where there is a POS mounted on the wall, I can carry this around with me. I could place orders that go right to the kitchen, or I could have people pay through the device. I just walk up to the table and they pay right there. I do think it's one of the most convenient things to be used in a restaurant because I have used both, and it can get frustrating waiting for that POS to open, especially when you're in a rush and it's crowded. I really don't have anything bad to say about this system. Lastly, I want to talk about this app called TaskRabbit. I actually just used this for the first time a few months ago. I moved into a new apartment and needed my TV mounted, and none of my friends would do it. Everyone was so busy, and I'm like, I don't know anyone. How do I get this mounted on my wall? So my friend introduced me to this app called TaskRabbit. You download it, it's free. You go on, you type in the service that you need. So mine was mounting. I was able to hire someone on the spot to come and mount my TV for only $60. In less than 24 hours, they show up, they mount it in about 20 minutes. Everything, they were paid through the app. I added my credit card, and then they left. And that was it. It was amazing. They have things for waiting in line, picking up food, hanging up shelves, mounting TVs, anything you can imagine. I've never seen anything like this, and I think it's super, super interesting how technology has advanced to this. And that is it. So that was my technobiography throughout the years. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you can use some of this technology in your own life, and thank you for watching.